Tēnā tātou. Tēnā tātou hui mai nei, I raru I te tāhuhu o tēnei tō tātou nei whare kauni hera. He whai ake tēnei te mihi atu ki a koutou. Ko whai wāhi atu ki te kauni hera I tēnei pō, ko whakawhai I te noho. I runga anō I ngā kaupapa, kei mua tonu I te aroaro. Anō reira, he mihi ake tēnei ki a koutou Ngāti mai o taki, Ngāti huia ki kati huku. Aroha Gleeson, a koutou ko Roy Matabaika. Nei rā te kauni hera, he kiana te kōrero e taringa rahi mai ki o koutou nā whakaro, ki o koutou nā kōrero. Nō reira kei oku whanaunga, Ngāti raukau au ki te tonga, ka kapuhi ake nei e nei whakaro I roti te karakia ka tukuna, hei timatanga mo tō tātou nei mahi. Nō reira e whātoro te ngākau ki a rātou te wā hingaro ki a tau mai nei te manaakitanga, ki runga ki tēnei huinga, o tira ki runga I e nei kaupapa, I e nei tangata. Tāwharau tia I nei tangata I nei kaupapa I te tāwharau take o te mana atu o te mana ariki. Kia puta ai I ngā kōrero pūrangi aho, tō tēnā, kia tai ake ki tētahi wāhi tike tunu. Mā reira horo pakina mai ai I ngā kaupapa, kei roto I te aroha, kei roto I ngā whakaro o te iwi. Nō reira, tāwharau tia nei tangata I te tāwharau take, o te mana atua, o te mana ari ki tūturu kia rongo, whakamaua kia tīna, haumie hui e. Mauri ora ki te whare. I think, kei a koe, te koe matu.
Kia ora tātou, Ngāti mai o taki hapu. I welcome you to this whare, this chamber, to have this kōrero. It is now your turn to speak to us and tell us your thoughts in the journey that we are about to take, which is, given my history of being in this district for 25 years and knowing some of the interface between council and mana whenua, I think we are at an interesting transitorial stage in the way we are starting to interface and the issues that you are going to bring to us. I look forward to your submission. Thank you.
Tēnā tātou, te kauni hera o te rohi o Kāpiti. Te tuakana, tēnā koe kau, ngā mi kau atu ki a koe koromatu o G. Nei rā te mihi ki koutou katoa I tēnei pō, e hui mai nei o tēnei kaupapa nui. So I appreciate the time that you have allocated us tonight, and I'm just going to jump straight into our submission, read through it, and field some questions at the end of it, if that's okay. Okay, so our direction. Our direction, Council has developed 4 community outcomes to contribute to our community's well-being. Do you think these are the right priorities for Council at this time, and why? Council's partnership with mana whenua needs to be tiriti-based and prioritise the protection, maintenance, strengthening and development of Otaki Ahika, whānau and hapu of Ngāti Maotaki, Ngāti Pare, Ngāti Huia ki Katihuku and Ngāti Kapu, as hapu specified in Appendix 1, iwi, Memorandum of Partnership with Council. Aroha mai. I have to return to the start of this. I have an issue with the transcription of our application to a word processed application. Our initial one was handwritten, and the transcription was quite poor. I'm sorry to say, a lot of spelling mistakes, no tōi toa in the Māori kupu, and this first paragraph referring to the ahika hapu, they've omitted Ngāti Koroki, so that's why I bring that up. I'm sorry. So I'll move on. Do you think investing for resilience and growth is the right approach for Council to take at this time, and why? Yes, it is, but not at the expense of the place of mana whenua, as ahika and of te tainga. Council need to partner with Otaki ahika hapu to explore environmentally sustainable solutions. Cap growth in Otaki to ensure growth and district plan includes ahika as co-architects. Our financial and infrastructure strategies, what do you think? The proposed 13.2% rates increase for Otaki will have a disproportional effect on mana whenua ahika residents of Otaki mana whenua, have long history of being adversely affected by council policies, including rates, resulting in their ongoing alienation from whenua tupuna. Our big issues, what big issues would you like to give your views on to help guide our direction? COVID-19 recovery. We would like to see the COVID-19 recovery plan for Ngā Hapu o Otaki, which Council contributed 20,000 to. Ngāti Māotaki Hapu have not seen it. Provide water retention facilities to all marae within the district. Support the development of pātaka kai and local food production, including on Māori-owned land and at marae. Direct line of contact with all hapu mandated representatives as part of a comprehensive response plan for the district. What are the positives that have come out of the pandemic you would like us to keep doing or support in the community? Hapu of Otaki working together to support whānau and obtain access to care and support. Support the 5 hapu of Otaki to obtain access to and contribute to a COVID-19 recovery plan for mana whenua in Otaki. Regularly timely communications and information. Have mana whenua involved as comms team. Access to housing. Do you have any views on access to housing generally? Engaging with mana whenua hapu whānau landowners to ensure they are co-architects in any review on social, older persons and affordable housing and the district plan. The district plan and growth strategy must contain adequate protective provisions for both identified and unidentified wāhi tapu. The new greenfield development abutting Haruatai lands and remnant ngāhere must ensure that wāhi tapu and remnant ngāhere is protected. Responding to climate change. We have made good progress on reducing council's emissions, however, achieving further gains will cost more should we continue to prioritise emissions reductions within council. Yes, partner with Otaki mana whenua hapu to initiate, support existing and new waste minimisation projects. District plan provision to incentivise small housing development, further planting out of brownfield areas using native species local to area, creating food forests in the community, working with ahika to develop papakainga using sustainable technology. Ahika must be actively engaged in these key projects to inform and aid decision-making so that mana whenua values are included. The effects of climate change are being experienced in different ways across the district. For example, for our coastal communities and infrastructure such as the seawall and Paikakariki, as climate change impacts become more severe and costs to respond increase, how do we ensure equity across the district? Do not allow brownfield development of Otaki Beach Marine Parade. Enter into proactive discussions with ahika. Those areas at higher risk due to housing proximity to coast may have to pay for any additional infrastructure. We have developed a strategic framework to guide our decision making, and we want to know if you think we've got it right. What are your views? Te Tiriti o Waitangi should be at the forefront of the strategic framework principles through a treaty house model of partnership embedded in the framework, which allows for active expression of kaupapa tuku iho, because it benefits the entire community. Embedded in Tiriti-based principles of active partnership, protection and participation will improve the mana whenua partnership with council and inform all other principles. Managing growth. As our district grows, what do you think good growth looks like? Retaining the identity and unique features of our Otaki community. The growth strategy and district plan must be in partnership with the ahika hapu of Otaki, including Ngāti Maiotaki, to ensure appropriate consideration is given to the protection of culturally and historically significant sites of national and local interest. All greenfield and brownfield development must be determined by a district plan which contains tangata whenua values of importance. We wish to retain greenfields and ensure that barriers for Māori to build on their tupuna land are removed. Strengthening our resilience. What else can Council do to help build community resilience? Employ more culturally aware mana whenua within Council to help inform a holistic strategic framework approach to building community resilience, informed by tikanga and Māori values of manaakitanga, kotahitanga, ukaipōtanga, and rangatiratanga. The pāharakeke model, traditional, ensures intergenerational support is available to support and protect the most vulnerable and younger members of our communities. How can Council encourage household emergency preparedness? Provide pop-up events, provide tsunami sirens to Otaki and Kāpiti, provide incentives to encourage household emergency preparedness, education, communication, and media. Should we explore different options for how we ensure our assets? We could reduce our cover, increase our excess, self-insure more, increase our reserves. Without understanding the impact on ahi ka hapu and whānau, we are unable to respond. Government changes impacting Council through water services. What's important for you about Council's role? To protect uninterrupted supply of safe, fresh drinking water to the community, to find environmentally friendly solutions for wastewater and stormwater disposal, stop exporting our waste to other areas and responsibly care for our environment. What should we advocate for? Uninterrupted fresh water supply to marae and Māori local community, recognition of Article 2 Te Tiriti o Waitangi in respect to water as a taonga, representation by mana whenua of the rohe. Key decisions. Key project 1, should Council take a bigger role in housing? Do you have any views? Council should partner with mana whenua. Council need to prioritise working directly with hapu of Otaki who are aware of the particular needs, priorities around housing. Engaging with our TWOC recs is not working. Key project 2, should we renew the Paikakariki seawall a different way? Do you have any views? This is a conversation to have with Ngāti Haungia ki Paikakariki. Significant proposal 1. Should we set up a CCO, Council-controlled organisation? More information is required. Significant proposal 2. Should Council explore ways to have a role in the airport? This is a conversation Council needs to have with Te Atiawa Whānui as mana whenua hapu and iwi. Major projects and initiatives. Indoor Sports Centre. Why is this not in Otaki? The most economically deprived community with a large rangatahi population where many mana whenua directly consulted in regards to determining major projects and initiatives. When? Otaki pool upgrade, stage 2. Suggest Otaki pool upgrade are not borne by Otaki ratepayers. Initiate local ratepayer and non-ratepayer fee. Otaki community facilities. Mana whenua would like more information on the proposed upgrade to Otaki Beach Pavilion and Beach Park. Mana whenua would like more info on Otaki projects. Rates and policy, changes to rating system. Do you have any views? We do not support a 13.2% rate rise for Otaki. Council need to provide alternatives to provide for active protection, maintenance, strengthening and development of ahika. Consider a rates regime based on property values to ensure equitable distribution of costs rather than a blanket cost. Changes to the how Council provides with rates. The rates remission policy is inequitable for mana whenua ahika. This policy supports further alienation of Māori land. Racist. This is a breach of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. This policy will not support ahika. Revisit this proposal of mana whenua input. Changes to user fees and charges for 21-22. Provide relief from resource consents and building fees on Māori land in marae and Māori papakainga development. Don't burden older persons with increased housing costs. Do not introduce spectator charge for pools. Mana whenua will be most negatively impacted on. Otaki is an economically deprived community. Mana whenua have the lowest swimming skill ability and ability to enjoy community facilities. Introducing additional charges at Otaki Pool will detrimentally impact on ahika who are on the lowest socio-economic bracket. Changes to levels of service. Levels of service at Waikanai should not detrimentally impact on Otaki community. Changes to policies, revenue and financing, rates remission. Rates remission policy does not provide enough support for Otaki ratepayers. Mana whenua, given the proposed 13.2% rate rise. Development contributions, do you have any views? Cap or remove development contributions on whenua Māori. Significance and engagement, rates for 21-22. Which of the below best indicates your views? We don't accept it, and I think the council should find a different way to deal with cost increases. Do you have any views on rates for 21-22? 13.2 rate rise for Otaki is unaffordable for a community with a significant Māori population who have the lowest income per household across the district. Mana whenua are in complete opposition. Do you support council exploring other ways to generate income? Yes. Other feedback. Mana whenua considerations should be part of every criteria for assessing significance and engagement policy feedback. Given the growth strategy for Otaki, why are the council selling land? As one of the 5 hapu of Otaki, we would welcome a review of the current MOP with iwi to ensure that we, as one of the 5 hapu of Otaki, we would welcome a review of the current MOP to ensure that we receive direct engagement with council and receive all communications pertaining to matters of significance and importance to us. Ensure iwi capacity funding is shared out to 5 Otaki hapu to enable them to engage on matters of significance. Koira te nuinga o taku kōrero, kei te ni kia kaitai.
Thank you very much for that. You're okay for me to open up for questions, councillors? Questions? Councillor Coates.
Kia ora tātou, Donovan and other hapu members. If I could start with a comment before a question, Your Worship. In the time that I've sat around this table, this is the first time that we've seen involvement at this level with hapu. So it's a shame that it's via Zoom, but nevertheless it is still, for me, quite an occasion where we've got this level of input into our long-term plan, and I welcome it, and I thank you all for participating and providing the level of contribution that you have. What I'm interested in is your feedback around the effect of the rising house costs, the rising rent costs, and subsequently the rate increase that you refer to in your submission on ahika in Otaki. What's the direct impact, if you could give me an idea, or the council an idea of how that is impacting on the community in ahika in a real sense?
So for those of ahika who are fortunate to own their own homes, a lot of them have been confronted with the consideration of moving out of town. Beside the fact that they own their own home, the other costs of living are rising, and these piled on top of a rates increase and other household bills is is making it near impossible for ahika to remain in our rohe.
Could you elaborate further on that in terms of what that means from a marae perspective, in terms of hapu members being forced out?
Kia ora. So if you're not aware, the marae of Rokua is our principal home. So everything that we do at the marae, for the marae, is for ourselves to remain here as ahika. If we haven't got people on the marae, then we lose that title. We're just regular citizens like everyone else. So if we are pushed out of our town, we won't have anybody to support our marae. Our marae fires will turn cold, and our marae will die.
Kia ora, Donovan. I'm going to allow other elected members, but I look forward to the opportunity to discussing with my Otaki further in the future.
Kia ora.
Councillor McCann.
Kia ora, Donovan. It's Rob McCann here, and I hold the housing portfolio. Apologies, we don't quite know which way to look, because if we want to see you, we're sort of turning our back. So I'll look at the camera and hope that you can see us. I'm really pleased to see how much comment that you've put down here around housing. It is a really significant issue that is taking up a lot of our debating time. I'm just curious to know how, because one of the things that we know is that as the house prices are rising, we're seeing more and more people across the whole region of Kāpiti being forced out. You have made some suggestions there that we should stop I think development that is going to force people who currently live here to move out. I'm wondering how you can stop people from moving into our community, because it doesn't feel like it's one of the tools that we have as a council.
Yeah, well, kia ora, Rob. I think possibly house prices dictate movement of people. And because there's no caps on house prices, I think inevitably people who find Kāpiti appealing and live in the city, well equipped, well financed to afford houses up this way, just becomes a game of economics, really. And because we're on the bottom rung of economies, we'll be the first to leave this area when new people start coming into it. It's very hard to put a cap on house prices. So it is an overwhelming issue that we're faced with, and obviously you're faced with. But working in conjunction, hopefully we can come up with some solutions.
And I think that's the solution in that last phrase, is the opportunity to work with you and all the many people who live in Otaki. We need to work and help provide solutions so that local solutions, meaning houses, can be built for local people. That requires us having a number of conversations, and I'm certainly really looking forward to sitting down and discussing those, because I know that we are willing to start looking at many things that we haven't looked at in the past. If we end up with the community saying that we can take a larger role in housing. Somewhere in there, Guru will find a question.
Challenge was yours. While I wait for the other councillors to put their hands up to ask questions, did I note from your submission that you have issued an invitation for us to come to you? There's an Arabic whakatuaki which says, if the mountain cannot come to Muhammad, Muhammad must come to the mountain. So, is there an invitation for us to come to your rohe and have a meeting tikanohi?
Kia ora matua. I will be the mountain.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Elliott.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Donovan, and everyone up there. Councillor Jackie Elliott, I'm the Portfolio Leader for Sustainable Waste Management. Thank you for your comments on the submission, and interested in your comment that I have heard before that we should not be taking our waste out of our rohi. I've also heard before that our rohi boundary is on the shores of Lake Horowhenua, probably in the vicinity of the land of the whenua of Ngāti Pārerau Kawa. And I'd be really interested in having